Hey there, horror movie tea sippers.
The following podcast will contain spoilers for the movie we are about to review. If you have not seen the movie and do not wish to have anything ruined prematurely, then please do not continue to listen until after you have seen the movie.
And welcome to the Horror Movie Tea podcast. Today, for our second week of December, we will be covering what we consider to be a classic horror Christmas movie, and that is A Christmas Horror Story. And but before I give the deets on that, let's go ahead and move on to tea. What are you drinking today?
I need caffeine. So I am drinking Bigelow Benefits Lean and Fit tea.
You've really been favoring that one.
I love it.
I need to try that one.
It really helps me wake up. It's got citrus and oolong, and it's just... But my cup is super toasty. I'm almost burning my fingers on it.
Don't burn your fingers.
This is fine.
And I'm going with my classic Numi aged Earl Grey. I really wanted to do the some of the brutalities, but we were kind of on a time crunch, so yep.
Yeah, you took forever.
I'm sorry. But anyways, so for those who have never heard of a horror Christmas story, or a Christmas horror story, I knew I was going to mess it up.
A Christmas horror story.
Thank you. A Christmas horror story. It is an anthology, but all of the stories are kind of interconnected. So there's not really much of a summary I can give.
Yeah, we'd be giving like 4 different summaries.
Yeah, and I'm not about that. But
yeah.
The kind of the overarching summary, though, is William Shatner is a radio host, and he's just like talking about Christmas, and there's some sort of massacre at the mall, and this overarching story is affecting everyone within the different anthologies that it's referring to.
Yeah, it's all in the same city, and
Yes.
there are different spooky things going on.
Yes.
In Bailey Downs.
Yes. There's Krampus, changelings,
Ghosts.
Yes. Is there anything else? Are we missing?
Insanity.
Yeah, zombies, elf zombies, psycho killers.
Specifically Christmas elf zombies.
Yes. I think that's probably implied with a bigger... But...
Well, we got changelings. We got to distinguish between...
Okay, that's fair. But, yeah, pretty... It's a nice little nest egg. It's got a little bit of everything.
It's a little crazy, and it's... I don't know, it's not quite like other anthologies. Most anthologies will do one story at a time. Yeah. And once they finish with one, they go to the next one. This one is all interconnected.
Yeah.
And it's all going on at the same time. So they're switching between the different storylines at random.
Yeah, and you see characters from one story move into another, so you know how they all interconnect.
Yes.
But so a lot of what I have to say has to do with the entertainment skills.
Yeah,
so we will go ahead and move to that.
Yep.
Ooh, this one is kind of hard for me because it's a cheesy movie. It's not a B movie.
Super campy.
But it's a cheesy movie. Like, it knows what it is, and it completely goes all out. It's amazing. Yeah. And
there's a couple of spoops, but it doesn't, like, stick completely to scary. Like, it knows it's goofy.
Definitely the scariest one is the changeling one. Like, that one is just creepy.
That one's freaky. There are a couple of things in the spirit one that they're very subtle with some of the things.
Yeah.
And it's kind of creepy that way, and I love that.
Yeah. But so because, I've said this before in other episodes, some of my ratings go based off of how often I want to see the movie. And this is one movie that I watch at least once a year. Like sometimes I don't even wait for Christmas because I love it so much and I have to watch it. So I'm going to give...
I'm the same.
It's like if we're going off of the 0.5 scale, I would give it a 7.5 because it's not like quite an 8 for me. But if I had to round, I would definitely lean on an 8.
Yeah. I honestly completely 100% agree. It's a solid 7.5, closer to an 8 if we had to round it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's one that, I mean, since it came out in 2015, Alyssa and I have watched this together every year around this time of year. Like, we have to. It is now a tradition. So, it is a really good movie. It's got a little bit of something for everyone. And they have fun with it. You can tell. In a lot of the plot lines, you can tell that they just have fun with it.
Yes. By far my favorite scene is Santa fighting Krampus. It's like, Krampus, the enemy of Christmas. Or like, it's just so epic and funny.
So over the top. And it's even funnier when you know what exactly is going on. Because just imagining him saying that in the actual setting.
Yeah.
I just imagine the person's face, the one that he's facing down at that time.
Just like what the heck?
What?
Yeah, just it's a crazy, crazy movie. But if you guys haven't watched it, you've got to watch it. Like I feel like even if you're not a huge fan of B movies, you can still get something out of this movie. Because the production is pretty decent, like the effects and stuff, but just the subject of it, it's so so cheesy.
There is a little bit of gore and some sexual content, but it's a good movie.
I will say the only character that I don't really like is ironically the William Shatner movie, or the William Shatner character. Really? But it's just... I
think he's funny.
Well, no, I think he's funny, but he also says some things that I'm like, if someone was watching this movie that didn't, like, celebrate Christmas or didn't, they're just, like, watching it to, like, just watch the movie, then I don't know. But that's just me being hyper sensitive to that.
I don't know. I think he's funny, and some of the things he says, like, even if you don't really care for Christmas that much, just watching this and his reaction to some of the things. Like when Norman, the weatherman, puts up the paper that says F Christmas.
He's like, you know who saw that?
Wow.
Jesus saw that.
And his dad.
Or like, I think the producer's name is like Karen or whatever, but he's like, why don't you press your own button?
Susan, yeah.
He's just so sassy.
Press your own button.
So if you guys have not seen this, definitely check it out. I actually bought it off of Amazon Prime.
It's worth it, guys.
But I know we originally saw it on Netflix, but I don't think it's still on there. I think they took it off.
I don't think it's on there, but yeah, I had to get it too. I had to download it. It's worth it. And I have to have it on hand, especially for this time of year. It's great.
Yep, so but yes, so the movie, they seem to know what they're doing. I don't have any specific critiques about it. They know the type of movie that they're going into, and they just embrace it full force. I feel like they do kind of like change the cinematography. Like they know how to change it up to like change the intensity. But, they do what they can. But to be fair, because of the subject line, it doesn't...
It's hard to take it seriously.
Yeah. There's a few parts that have made me jump, and they make me jump pretty much every single time. But I remember first watching the movie and being creeped out. So if you've never seen it and you're going in for the first time, you might get kind of like creeped out or chilled, but it's never like absolutely terrifying. It's just kind of like, ugh, like the changeling walking on the ceiling or staring in the background.
That really
with
freaked
eyes.
you out.
That's not okay. Like, not okay.
And the glowing eyes.
Ugh.
And seeing its reflection in the window. What it actually looks like.
Yeah.
I really like, though, in the spirit one, noticing, since we've seen it and we know what all is going to happen and everything, I like to look now in the backgrounds. And I've noticed quite a few things that I didn't realize were there before. Mm. So, like, there's, toward the beginning of that particular storyline, when they first go down there, the guy with the camera pans over and you see a girl right before the door frame cuts off the line of sight of that room. They don't make any sound for any kind of recognition of it. They don't call attention to it or anything. You see a person right there as he pans away.
Yeah.
And then they do the same thing later on. They show like someone sitting on the shelf. I didn't point this out while we were watching it. I meant to,
no.
but so you see someone in jeans sitting on a shelf as he's panning around. They don't really show a face, but you see the legs there. And then you see like a woman's face really close to the camera, and he freaks out and then looks at it again, and it's one of the mannequins. So it's little things like that are really cool and are a little more subtle, and I really appreciate those. And God, everything has to have a big loud noise.
Yes. And this is purely me nitpicking, but with our comments with other movies about teenagers and sex, I will say that this one's a little bit uncomfortable with the teenage sex, just because they're legitimately teenagers. Like, they don't look like, 20-somethings pretending to be
cute. They legitimately look 16 or 17.
Yeah,
like
so, and then
young.
the fact, like, how long they drag out that particular scene, but I almost kind of wonder, and, we can't read the filmmakers' minds, but, well, first of all, I'm sure that this movie is probably meant to be more kind of a teenage type of movie, because it's not, I don't know, I could picture it like being geared towards teenagers, because I just feel like teenagers tend to be like a huge part of horror movie audiences. But also, I wonder if they brought out that scene to make it feel really uncomfortable.
Possibly. I mean, it makes sense, though, why it's in the movie.
Yeah. It's not...
The ghost wants them to have a child.
Yeah, it's not like the other horror movies where it's like, we're in a cabin, random sex scene, and then it like goes on. It's like, no, there's a purpose to this particular scene. Yeah.
So, and I do feel bad for one of the guys. He was like trying to be faithful. He was a good guy and trying to be nice about it too. He's like, no, stop. This is not going to happen. I have a girlfriend. There's something wrong. Are you okay? Like, you're not acting normal.
He was genuinely concerned. Yeah.
And then he dies.
Yeah. Because he didn't have sex with her. It's like, because he was a good person. I mean, the other guy, to be fair, he didn't have a girlfriend, but it's so funny how she's just like shined the flashlight in his face, and he's like, huh?
Rude. Trying to sleep here. Rude.
Yeah, that one, I feel, out of all of the stories, that one's my least favorite one, but it's not like I don't enjoy it. Because, as you said, they do have, like, a lot of background ghost stuff that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And I love, like, any of those found footage movies where they're like, oh, we're ghost investigators and we're in an asylum or we're in a school. Like, I get that vibe in that story, and I love those types of movies. So I can't hate it, but out of all of them, it's probably my least favorite.
Well, And I do find it funny too, like they start hearing some weird things and start getting creeped out. And they're like, "Okay, I think I've got everything we need here, so let's peace out, guys."
Yeah, but then they get locked in.
And then they realize that they can't get the door open. Though why they never tried to take the hinges off?
Yeah, I don't know. But
Okay.
which is okay, I said my least favorite. What is your least favorite story in the anthology?
I don't know.
You know the family one too, like whenever he's like visiting his aunt, that one's not really a top favorite either.
I don't know.
It's just so bitter.
I like them all. I really do. Well, she's bitter, but that's why you don't feel as bad when the daughter turns into Krampus and she gets hers.
No, I meant like all of the characters in that story, like the family, the aunt, like everyone's a bitter Scrooge.
Well, yes.
But
that's what makes it fun to watch.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I like that they have, because you kind of wonder, I mean, like the boy is a brat, but he doesn't seem that bad. And you kind of wonder why he's like the first one actually taken by Krampus. And then the daughter reveals that he's been killing their pets.
Yeah.
He's the reason they keep going missing.
That's so messed up.
And you don't feel as bad for when they're all jerks like that. You don't feel that bad for them getting taken or killed. Like
it was obviously purposeful.
Yes.
But the mother, dang,
she's a piece of work.
She has some daggers for words, I'll tell you that.
Savage.
Yeah.
Like, on the drive there, we were both like, why are they even together? Like,
I know. Like, she's so...
Why are they still trying to be a family and all with all this? There's so much hostility in that one car.
Because he was asking, he's like, I just want us to all get along or have a nice Christmas or whatever. And she's like, then you're asking for a Christmas miracle or something.
Yeah, so you're asking for a Christmas miracle.
Like, oh my God.
He's like, I just want us all to be a happy, loving family for this Christmas.
Yeah.
Well.
Do you have a favorite story?
Again, that's really hard.
I know. I really like the Santa one and the Changeling one. It's there's both parts in each of those stories that I'm not like completely 100% on board with, but they're pretty level for me.
I mean, the Santa one really makes me laugh because you can tell, like, the people that they cast for the elves are really having fun with it. There's so much language. But it just the way they say it and all,
Christmas
you can't not laugh.
Christmas themed swearing.
Yes, and you can't not laugh. It's just too funny. And it does kind of take you out of the mindset of this is supposed to be scary because you're too busy laughing.
Yeah.
But it makes it so entertaining.
Yeah.
Just to see how much fun they had making this and coming up with these things. Like, who wrote this?
I know, right. That would have been so fun, but shall we?
So those are fun. And I really like the twist too.
Yeah, I really like the twist.
Yeah. We were saying, right after we finished watching it again, that the first time we watched it, we didn't realize why this... I mean, it seems so random at first.
The Santa
storyline. The Santa storyline. It seems really random at first, and because everything else is connected. The Changeling story, the dad was the cop that you see in the video for the spirit area under the school.
Yeah.
And the girl that got them the keys for the spirit area is the daughter in the Krampus story. So they're all connected. And the William Shatner, the DJ guy, is that Krampus family's grandfather. So they're all connected somehow, but the Santa story seems very random by comparison. They don't really have any connecting characters that you recognize or anything until the end, when you realize it was all a complete delusion. And Norman, the weatherman, had snapped, and he was imagining himself as Santa.
Yeah.
Fighting zombie Christmas elves.
I know. It's like, it's hard to
Because of Krampus.
hate or pick a favorite on one story since they all wrap up together
Yes.
in a nice little package.
Yes.
Like, if it was another anthology where none of them were connected, I think it'd be a lot easier to pick and choose. But yeah, it's tough.
Definitely. But they're all really fun. They do, like you said before, some have their ups and downs and all, so it's really, really hard to pick a favorite. The Changeling one, I feel like that one's a little bit more removed from the other storylines.
Yeah.
He's the only connection, the dad,
Yeah.
and it's like barely a connection.
Yeah. That's fair.
So, well, I guess the chick in the spirit story said that she babysat Will,
Yeah.
and that's how she got the footage and everything. But yeah,
But I'm still
I
glad.
can't pick a favorite.
It's like, even though the connection on that one is kind of shaky, I'm glad that they had it in it, because there's not many movies that play around with the changeling lore much, which is a shame because it's super creepy.
There are a couple of movies that do, but they're completely into, like, that's what the entire movie is about.
Yeah.
So, and we'll probably watch a few of those at some point, like The Hole,
Yes.
or Changeling, or things like that. But there's a lot of lore that isn't touched on it, and they don't really mention in this movie what happens to the kid. She was one of the lucky ones, and she got her kid back. But there's some lore that says that the child is raised to be basically a slave in that realm, and are made to serve the fae that brought them there. And others say that the kid is eaten or used in some kind of ritual. So
Yeah. But
she was one of the lucky ones.
yep. But I don't have anything else to add. Do you want to move on to the realism scale?
Is there a realism scale with this kind of movie?
Well, it's going to be a very low realism scale. I'll give you that. Like I'd say like Santa actually ending up being like a mall guy that's become psychotic. I actually could kind of believe that, but the changeling and the
Krampus.
yeah, I mean so this movie I think would probably, I don't know, maybe a 3, because it's not like, it's like the super, like, you know, magical or supernatural parts like really drag the movie down, but then the part that you're like, oh, I could probably see that happen kind of helps pull it up.
We gotta set aside a lot of things.
Okay.
Also, the fact that all of these story things happen at the same time.
Okay, what about a 2? Would you accept
I'm
a 2?
thinking a 2. Okay. I will accept a 2.
There's nothing really much that the characters do in particular that I would do differently. The only thing is, as you mentioned, whenever they go and try and get out of the school, you mentioned messing with the hinges. Though I do have to argue that some hinges are extremely difficult to get that nail or whatever that is, and they're up.
Well, you don't also just have to go after the pin. You can find something there to undo the screws. Or you can...
That's fair.
...fit something into the space between the hinge and the door and yank to pull it out completely. Yeah. So there are things you can do to get the door off. But they didn't try.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the changeling thing, I feel like the mother was like, she is trying to keep her husband under control, but she was way too lenient on the kid. And the fact that the father was like, oh, he's being really weird, or just made know that he's a weird kid. But then the mother is like, oh, he hasn't talked for several hours and he's eating like a second full plate full of spaghetti. This is fine. Oh, he stabbed his dad with a fork. This is fine. The thing is,
they don't mention that he's not talking.
Yeah.
That's what bugged the crap out of me.
Yeah, they don't notice.
Like, the kid was a chatterbox walking into the forest to get the tree, and then after they find him, he doesn't say a word?
Yeah. And then the only thing they really seem to notice is the fact that he's eating a lot and that he didn't need to use his inhaler. I'm like, I'm sorry, but I'm not buying it. If I was a parent, I would notice that a lot quicker.
Yeah, no.
And the fact
my
that
parents immediately would have been like, okay, what's going on?
Yeah, or the fact that, like, the kid wasn't really responding to them. I'm not buying the fact that they had to be told that something was wrong with their son.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely off.
Yeah.
But I love how the guy that had called her was like, it can't feel threatened. Don't let it sense your intentions or anything.
She immediately hits it with a baseball bat.
With a bat. Like, almost immediately after.
Oh my god. Like, this movie has so many golden moments. It's just, if you guys haven't seen it yet, seriously, you need to go watch it, because it is... I hope it becomes a Christmas classic for you, or a Christmas tradition for you guys too, because it's great.
It is gold.
I really wish that this movie got a lot more hype. Like,
yeah.
Like, I don't really hear anyone else in the horror movie community really talk about it at all.
Well, and even when it came out, there was, like, no fanfare or anything. We found it randomly on Netflix, and we read the description and we're like, that sounds hilarious.
Yeah.
And we were not disappointed.
No, if anything, it exceeded expectations.
It did. I want to say there was like a preview or something where like, well, that looks kind of dumb, but let's give it a shot.
Yeah. The trailer did not do it justice. Yeah.
It was great. Definitely recommend the watch, guys. It is worth it. You will have some laughs. It's not very spooky or anything. There's not many spooks. I feel like the changeling was probably the freakiest thing about it. With the glowing eyes and the crawling on the ceiling and the walls and the things like that. But and seeing when she goes to the forest to give it back. Yeah. And you see more of them in the trees and everything, just their silhouettes and their glowing eyes.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
But so if you guys like this movie or watch it and you like it, please share it with other horror movie fans, because it would be really cool to give this movie a lot more of a fan base. But,
more appreciation.
Yes. And talking about appreciation, I'm going to segue this into our 1-year anniversary is coming up in February, you guys. And so for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, we're all aiming to have all of those at least 100 followers or subscribers by the 1 year. So if you can please follow on all of those mediums that you have, share it with a friend or family member or multiple friends and family members that you think would be interested. We want to make this a community to where after we publish an episode, you guys can say your feedback about the movie and we can, comment with you guys and really make this like a horror community. That would be, it's the whole reason why part of the reason why we started this podcast. The other reasons why we like talking about horror movies.
We really like horror movies and tea. Like,
But it's like, it would be a dream come true if we could get this community up and like really have a base where like we all could, you know, talk about horror movies and what we love about them.
Yes. And if you have any other suggestions for movies for us to watch, please, please, please let us know. We have a couple planned for the rest of this month, but January is completely open. So let us know what you guys want us to watch and review. And until next time, guys, it is the holiday season, so please stay safe and stay spooky. Bye!
Bye, guys.